The rain pounded against the windows of our suburban home in Seattle, a relentless drumbeat that mirrored the chaos in my mind. I lay awake in the king-sized bed, staring at the empty space where my wife, Sarah, should have been, her business trip to New York stretching into its third week. That's when I heard the soft creak of the floorboards outside my door, and in walked Leo, my 22-year-old stepson, his silhouette framed by the hallway light, holding a mug of chamomile tea as if he knew exactly what I needed to chase away the insomnia that had plagued me since she left. Leo had always been the quiet type, the kind of kid who observed more than he spoke, especially after I married his mother 5 years ago when he was just 17. Back then, he was a lanky teenager with a mop of curly brown hair and eyes that seemed to hold secrets from a tougher childhood before Sarah and I tied the knot. I tried to be the father figure he needed, attending his high school soccer games, helping with college applications. But there was always this invisible wall between us, built from the remnants of his biological dad's abandonment. Now, as a young man studying environmental science at the University of Washington, he lived with us to save on dorm costs, and our interactions had evolved into polite nods and shared dinners. But that night, something shifted. "Can't sleep again, huh, David?" Leo asked, his voice low and steady as he set the mug on the nightstand. I sat up, rubbing my eyes, surprised by his intuition. Sarah had mentioned my sleep issues in passing, but Leo paying attention felt personal. "Yeah, the bed feels too big without her," I admitted, forcing a chuckle to mask the vulnerability. He lingered by the door, hesitating, then pulled up the armchair from the corner and sat down. "Want to talk about it? Mom says you're stressed about work." His concern was genuine, no judgment in those hazel eyes, and for the first time I opened up about the looming layoffs at my engineering firm, the pressure of providing for the family, the fear that at 45, I was past my prime. Leo listened, nodding thoughtfully, sharing stories from his own life, the bullying he faced in high school for being different, the way he'd learned to bottle up emotions to avoid conflict. As the hours ticked by, the tea grew cold, but the conversation warmed something inside me, a connection I'd never anticipated. By morning, the rain had eased, and Leo was gone, back to his room before the sun fully rose. But that wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The next night, he returned with a book of poetry, Walt Whitman of all things, saying it helped him through tough times. We read passages aloud, his voice soft and melodic, discussing themes of identity and belonging. I found myself laughing at his insights, feeling seen in a way Sarah, with her busy schedule and practical mindset, rarely made time for. She loved me, sure, but our marriage had settled into routine. Bills, chores, occasional date nights. With Leo, it was different, raw, unfiltered. As the days blurred, Sarah's trip extended due to a client crisis. Leo's nightly visits became ritual. We talk about everything. His dreams of conservation work in the Amazon, my regrets over not pursuing art in college, even politics and the state of the world. One evening, he confessed his struggles with dating, how apps felt superficial, how he longed for real connection. "It's hard being gay in a world that still judges," he said quietly, eyes fixed on the floor. I nodded, sharing my own youthful confusions, the societal pressures that pushed me into a straight life. "Society expects us to fit molds," I replied. "But breaking them takes courage." His gaze met mine, a spark of understanding igniting. Yet whispers of doubt crept in. Neighbors in our quiet cul-de-sac were the type to gossip. What would they think of these late-night talks? Sarah called daily, her voice tinny over the phone, oblivious to the budding closeness. I told myself it was innocent, fatherly bonding, but deep down, I knew it was more. Leo's presence filled the void, not just physically, but emotionally. One night, as he shared a childhood memory of feeling outcast at family gatherings, tears welled in his eyes. Instinctively, I reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder. He didn't pull away. Instead, he leaned in, the contact electric, stirring feelings I'd long suppressed. The conflict brewed silently. My conservative upbringing in rural Texas clashed with this newfound empathy. I'd always supported LGBTQ rights in theory, voted for marriage equality, attended pride parades with Sarah for her work friends, but facing it personally was different. Was this affection paternal or something forbidden? Leo seemed to sense my turmoil, pulling back slightly the next night, suggesting we watch a movie instead of talking. We chose a documentary on climate change, his passion project, but my mind wandered to the warmth of his laugh, the way his eyes lit up. Sarah's return loomed, just a week away now. I dreaded it, the return to normalcy that suddenly felt stifling. Leo noticed my distraction. "You okay, David?" he asked, pausing the film. I hesitated, then confessed, "These nights, they've meant a lot." He smiled faintly, but there was sadness there. "Me too. But Mom's coming back. Things change." His words hung heavy, a prelude to the storm ahead. Sarah's flight was delayed again, buying us another few days. Leo and I fell into a rhythm, our conversations deepening like roots seeking water. One evening, he brought up his ex-boyfriend from college, a relationship that ended badly due to family pressure. "His parents found out and cut him off," Leo said, voice trembling. "Made me realize how fragile acceptance is." I shared my own story. A college roommate I'd felt drawn to, but dismissed as bromance to avoid the label. "Times were different then," I said. "But fear doesn't age well." He looked at me with a mix of admiration and pity. "You're brave for admitting that now." Brave? I felt like a fraud. At work, colleagues joked about man caves and weekend barbecues, reinforcing the heteronormative bubble I'd lived in. Returning home to Leo's thoughtful gestures, a home-cooked meal, a playlist of calming indie folk, highlighted the contrast. We ate together, discussing books and dreams, laughter echoing in the empty house. But tension simmered. One night, as we cleared dishes, our hands brushed, and time slowed. His eyes searched mine, a question unspoken. I pulled away, muttering about work emails, heart pounding. The next day, Leo came home from class agitated. "Had a debate in sociology today about stepfamily dynamics," he said, slumping on the couch. "Some kids said blended families are doomed because of unnatural bonds." His words hit like a punch. I sat beside him, closer than usual. "People fear what they don't understand." He turned, our knees touching. "Do you understand this, David?" "Us?" The air thickened, charged with possibility. I wanted to say yes, but words failed. Instead, I changed the subject to his upcoming internship. Sarah called that night, excited about closing a deal. "Miss you both," she said. Guilt twisted in my gut. Was I betraying her? Leo overheard, his expression unreadable. Later, he knocked on my door earlier than usual. "Can't sleep thinking about today," he admitted. We talked until dawn, exploring hypotheticals. What if society didn't judge love based on labels? What if family meant more than blood? His vulnerability drew me in, but I held back, mindful of the line we teetered on. Conflict escalated when Leo's friend, Marcus, dropped by unannounced. A flamboyant art major, Marcus eyed me suspiciously. "Heard you're keeping Leo company," he said with a wink. Leo shot him a glare, but the implication lingered. After Marcus left, Leo apologized. "He's protective. Thinks everyone has ulterior motives." I laughed it off, but it stung. Was that what others would see? As Sarah's return approached, Leo suggested a hike in the nearby Olympic National Park to clear our heads. The trail was lush, rain-kissed ferns brushing our legs. We talked freely, away from prying eyes. At a viewpoint overlooking the sound, he paused. "David, these weeks, they've changed me, made me feel less alone." My chest tightened. "Me too, Leo." Our hands grazed the railing, a silent acknowledgement. But on the drive home, reality crashed in. A text from Sarah confirming her flight. Panic set in. How to revert to normal. That night, Leo didn't come to my room. I tossed, missing his presence. Finally, I knocked on his door. He was reading, looking weary. "We need to talk," I said. He nodded. "About boundaries?" The word hung like a barrier. We discussed the elephant in the room, the growing affection, the societal taboos. "It's not just gay. It's stepfamily," he said. "People would call it wrong." I agreed, but my heart rebelled. Feelings don't follow rules. The conversation turned heated, voices rising. What if Mom finds out? Leo challenged. It would destroy her. Guilt flooded me. Yet, in the heat, honesty emerged. I cared for him deeply, beyond family. He admitted the same, tears flowing. We hugged, a platonic embrace laced with longing, pulling apart before it crossed lines. Dawn broke, leaving us exhausted but closer. However, the outside world intruded. At work, a coworker shared a story about a scandalous affair in his neighborhood involving a step-parent. Laughter erupted, but I felt targeted. Home felt like a sanctuary turning into a pressure cooker. Leo sensed it, suggesting we keep distance until Sarah returned. But fate had other plans. Her trip extended once more due to weather. Relief mixed with dread. With Sarah's delay, the house felt like a bubble about to burst. Leo and I navigated carefully, limiting talks to daylight hours, but the pull was magnetic. One afternoon, he shared his journal entries, poignant reflections on identity. Read this, he urged, handing me a page about feeling trapped in expectations. Tears pricked my eyes. It mirrored my own unspoken truths. You're not alone, I whispered. He smiled, a genuine one that lit his face. But society loomed. At a community barbecue, neighbors grilled me about Sarah's absence. Must be lonely, Mr. Jenkins said, clapping my back. Leo stood nearby, chatting with kids, but our eyes met across the yard. A silent conversation. Later, as we cleaned up, he confessed, felt like everyone was watching. Paranoia grew. Was it real or our guilt projecting? Tension peaked when Leo's biological father, absent for years, resurfaced via email, demanding reconnection. Leo was furious, pacing the living room. He thinks he can waltz back? I calmed him, offering support. In gratitude, he hugged me tightly, lingering a second too long. Electricity surged. I stepped back, clearing my throat. We can't, I said. He nodded, hurt flashing. Sarah's calls became probing. How's Leo? You two getting along? Her tone was casual, but suspicion crept in. I lied smoothly, hating myself. Leo overheard again, confronting me later. Lying to her? That's not you. Argument ensued. Loyalty versus truth. This isn't simple, I snapped. Society would crucify us. He retorted, society's wrong sometimes. The debate exposed rifts, my fear of ostracism versus his youthful idealism. A turning point came during a storm. Power out. We huddled by candlelight, sharing fears. Leo admitted attraction budding from respect. It's confusing, but real. I confessed reciprocal feelings, buried deep. But acting on it. Immoral? We dissected ethics. Consent? No blood relation, adult ages. Yet, taboos persisted. Stepfamily bonds sacred. Gay love still contested in pockets of America. Friends noticed changes. My buddy Tom invited me for beers, probing my mood. Seemed distracted. Trouble at home. I deflected, but seeds of doubt planted. Leo's circle buzzed too. Marcus texted warnings about forbidden fruit. Pressure mounted, forcing introspection. Was this love or loneliness amplified? One night, unable to sleep, I found Leo in the kitchen. Can't stop thinking, he said. We talked till sunrise, forging a pact. Explore feelings platonically, no physicality. But words blurred lines. A shared glance felt intimate. Sarah announced her return in 3 days, shattering the illusion. Panic ensued. What now? Leo asked. I had no answer. The climax built when Leo's father showed up uninvited. A grizzled man reeking of regret. Want to know my son? He demanded. Leo exploded, years of abandonment pouring out. I intervened, defending Leo like a protector. The man left, but not before sneering. You two seem close, too close. His words echoed, a threat unspoken. Shaken, Leo turned to me for comfort. We sat on the porch, stars above. Thank you, he murmured. Our hands intertwined briefly, a moment of solace amid chaos. But guilt crashed, betraying Sarah, defying norms. "This can't continue," I said, pulling away. Hurt, he agreed, retreating to his room. Sarah's flight landed early. She texted from the airport. Leo and I scrambled to normalize, cleaning, stocking groceries, erasing traces of our intimacy. But the air hummed with unspoken words. When she walked in, exhausted but smiling, we greeted her warmly. "Missed you both," she said, hugging us. Dinner was awkward. Small talk masked the undercurrent. Leo excused himself early, pleading homework. That night, alone with Sarah, routine resumed. Catching up, light touches. But my mind wandered to Leo's door down the hall. Insomnia returned. I lay awake, hearing faint music from his room. Sarah noticed my distance over breakfast. "Everything okay while I was gone?" Leo interjected smoothly. "Yeah. David helped with my classes." Her smile hid doubt. Conflicts multiplied. At a family dinner with Sarah's relatives, Aunt Carla grilled Leo about dating. "Any girlfriends?" He deflected, but tension rose. I changed topics, but Carla persisted. "Boys need stability." Leo's jaw tightened. Under the table, his foot brushed mine in solidarity. Later, he vented, "Hate the assumptions." I empathized, sharing my own suppressed youth. Our bond strengthened in secrecy. Work became escape, but even there, rumors swirled. Colleagues whispering about midlife crises. Home felt claustrophobic. One evening, Sarah worked late. Leo and I relapsed into talk. "Miss our nights," he admitted. "Me too," I replied. But Sarah returned unexpectedly, catching us mid-conversation. "What's this?" she asked playfully. We laughed it off, but her eyes lingered. Suspicion festered. Sarah found Whitman's book in my drawer, questioning its origin. "Leo's," I said truthfully. She nodded, but distance grew. Intimacy with her felt forced. Guilt eroded desire. Leo noticed, pulling away to avoid fueling fires. Loneliness amplified. A blow came when Marcus confronted me privately. "Leo's in love with you," he accused. "End it before it destroys him." Shocked, I denied, but doubt seeded. That night, I confronted Leo. "Is Marcus right?" Tears fell. He nodded. "But I know it's impossible." Heartbreak ensued. Debates on morality, society, family. "Love shouldn't hurt like this," he sobbed. I held him, paternal yet not, vowing to suppress. Sarah sensed the rift, arranging a family therapy session under guise of blending better. The therapist probed dynamics. Leo and I guarded secrets, but cracks showed. My protectiveness, his admiration. Post-session, Sarah cornered me. "Something's off. Tell me." I deflected, but lies compounded. High drama unfolded at Leo's college event, a fundraiser for LGBTQ causes. Sarah and I attended. Speeches on acceptance moved me. Leo spoke passionately about visibility. Our eyes met on stage. Pride swelled. But afterward, a drunk attendee joked about daddy issues. Laughter stung. Leo fled. I followed, comforting him in the parking lot. "Ignore them." He leaned on me, vulnerable. Sarah saw from afar, expression hardening. Confrontation erupted at home. "What's going on between you two?" Sarah demanded. Denials flew, but truth trickled. Emotional bond, nothing physical. She exploded. "That's still betrayal." Accusations of grooming, manipulation. Leo defended. "It's mutual, Mom. Society's the problem." Tears, shouts. She stormed out, staying with her sister. Alone, Leo and I faced the wreckage. "Was it worth it?" he asked. "For the truth, yes," I said. But pain was raw, family fractured, society judging. Neighbors whispered. Work colleagues distanced. Leo considered moving out. I pondered divorce. Sarah returned after 2 days, face etched with hurt. "We need to talk, all three." The living room felt like a courtroom. She sat opposite us. "Explain," she demanded. Leo started, voice steady. It began innocently, talks when you were away, but feelings grew. I added, nothing happened physically. It's emotional. She listened, tears streaming. How could you? He's my son. Debates raged. Definitions of family, love's boundaries, societal norms. Gay or straight? This is taboo, she argued. Leo countered, taboos change. Interracial marriage once was. Hours passed. Exhaustion set in. Sarah admitted her own neglect, career overtaking marriage. I failed us all. Blame shifted to understanding. But wounds were deep. She suggested space, Leo to dorms, counseling for all. Heartbroken, he agreed. Packing his things, we shared a tearful goodbye. I'll always care, he whispered. I nodded, throat tight. Life fragmented. Divorce papers loomed. Sarah and I attended therapy, unpacking years of unspoken issues. My bisexuality emerged, a revelation shocking yet freeing. She supported in theory, but trust shattered. Leo thrived at school, dating openly, but our contact waned to text, surface level, avoiding depths. Society's backlash hit. Family disowned parts, friends ghosted. At work, HR probed, inappropriate relations. Though unfounded, I fought back, advocating for nuance in blended families. Leo joined online forums, sharing anonymized stories, sparking debates on love's ethics. Months later, a family reunion forced reunion. Awkward hugs, polite chats. Sarah and I separated amicably. She dated anew. Leo brought a boyfriend, kind and supportive. Jealousy flickered, but pride dominated. We stole a moment alone. Regrets? He asked. None, for knowing true connection. He smiled. Me neither. Healing began. I volunteered at LGBTQ centers, mentoring youth on self-acceptance. Leo graduated, landing his dream job. Occasional coffees with him felt platonic, the spark dimmed by time. Sarah remarried. We co-parented the memory of our family. Reflecting, the journey exposed hypocrisies. America's progress on gay rights clashing with ingrained taboos. Love defied categories, but at what cost? Families rebuilt, stronger in authenticity. Yet questions lingered. Was our bond a product of circumstance or inevitable? Society evolved, but slowly. In quiet moments, I wondered if we'd rewrite history. The story closed with scars, but growth. Love's complexity triumphed over simplicity. Is it ever morally acceptable for romantic feelings to develop between a step-parent and an adult stepchild, even if no laws are broken?